for it. Wait for it. Now. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This week on Humpcast, Jermey Northwood comes in to refresh us with a new beer. Ryan D is out. Get your arachnophobia out again. Green Lantern Corps is on its way. The director of Thor Ragnarok is Hitler. And get ready to poop your pants because the Halloween trailer is here. You're listening to Humpcast. Welcome to Humpcast, everybody. The show where a couple of buds get buzzed and sip on agave ale with a bro who will not fail. My name's Garrett Lee.
I am Jeremy B.
What?
Brewer from the Crypt.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yay! I was like, that is not your last name. Of course, we have a special guest today, Jermey Northwood, a.k.a. Jeremy B.
How's it going, guys?
From Brewer from the Crypt. Now, Jeremy is a longtime friend of the show and guest who is reoccurring. So if you haven't seen him before, he's here now to bring us some delicious shit. He has since brought us some cool things. So let's start off with the newest one.
And the beer that you guys always start off with.
That's true, because just like every episode, we start off with an alcoholic beverage of some sort, and this is no different. Jeremy, what did you bring us?
Okay, so I don't know if anybody remembers from any of my early Instagram posts from my birthday, middle of January, but we brewed a smoked agave pale ale on my birthday, and pretty much all you guys, all you guys from Humpcast were there at the party, and we brewed and we partied and we had a bunch of food and we got really drunk and ended up managing to brew a beer. And this is a pale ale, American style ale, pale ale with smoked smoked malts and agave syrup.
I like that. Let's give it a try.
All right, cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
Man, that's refreshing.
Wow. Okay, so this is by far the lightest beer I think you've ever made.
Most definitely, yes. It's definitely not the lightest in color, but flavors-wise, and probably one of the absolute lightest I've made alcohol by volume-wise as well. This one weighs in at about a 3.8 to 4% at the most.
Oh, wow. Okay, so this is way under my 6% rule.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. This is definitely supposed to be light, refreshing. That's why, if you notice, you get a very light smoke flavor from the smoked malts, and then you get really nice. The only way to describe it is a slightly tart flavor from the agave syrup.
That's what I was getting. I was like, it almost tastes like what's that? So it almost tastes like. Have you ever had cactus before?
Yes. Nopales. Yeah.
I think that it gives it almost that flavor with the agave because I've never eaten agave.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
But I was like, ooh, yeah, it's getting like a nopales type of flavor, not sour. However, if you're a fan of smoke and sour and tart, I guess, you
definitely.
may definitely be interested in this beer. Although those are not the heaviest, like those are not heavy as by all means. This is refreshing with those key notes, and I think you might definitely like this if you're into those.
And it's not tart like a sour beer. It's not at all. Like I know Sierra Nevada, they made that one. It was a agave, or it was a cactus.
Was it the Otra Vez?
Yeah, the Otra Vez.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that one was terrible. I'm sorry, guys. Look, Sierra Nevada, you guys are awesome. I love your guys' beer, but that one was weird.
That lives in infamy on this show because I remember the exact day. So Ryan D, who is self-proclaimed, he loves his deals. He decided, you know what? I'm gonna branch out. I'm going to buy a 6-pack of something I've never had before, and I'm going to try it on the show, which, mad respect for going out and doing that, especially for Ryan D. He probably couldn't have picked a worse beer.
Oh yeah.
Knowing him,
I've done that with movies.
Yeah.
One would have been a movie called Bullethead. My brother Joshua and my brother Anthony. We've been friends. Anthony and I have been friends for a long time. He tattooed me on Christmas Eve.
Cool.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, we used to live together up in Northern California, and one night I was in charge of picking a movie, and I picked the movie Bullethead. Yeah, don't bother. Oh my God, unless you like weird, fucked up movies.
Well, a lot of people definitely.
They still don't let me live that down to this day.
Yeah, a lot of people definitely love weird shit like that.
Okay, so that one and Bullethead are pretty much the same thing. One's a movie, one's a beer.
Yeah. Okay. So the otra vez is, like you said, made from agave, but extremely tart and not sour like a raspberry or any fruit like that, but just.
No, I think it's supposed to be a sour beer though. So
it just doesn't taste good though.
I mean, honestly, I don't care if it's a sour beer or not. My caveat with it is just like, and I don't often have anything really negative to say about most beers because all beers have their credit.
Yeah.
It's just this one was, I think if you're gonna hit and miss, this one was definitely a miss. So.
Oh, okay.
But it was worth the experience, I gotta say, because I did the same thing. I bought a 6-pack of it, and I was really excited because I've always been interested in the idea of using like nopales in a beer or making an agave beer and stuff like that. Because I like tequila, not a bunch, but
love tequila.
I know. That's part of the reason why I made this beer actually is because we were having a conversation on one of the last shows a year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of when I got the idea to start really thinking about this beer. And then a gentleman that I'm acquainted with, he and I were talking about it, and he came up with the idea of, let's try something like that. And this is the first attempt.
Okay, I think this is great, actually, especially for a light beer. I don't generally like light beers at all. Flavor-wise, great. I have an idea, which, I mean, we could share on or off the show if you want. It really depends. What do you want to try? You want to hear it?
Yeah, I'd love to hear the idea.
Would you think of a higher alcohol content agave michelada beer that is essentially an amalgamation of the smoked agave higher alcohol content with the michelada beer that you already have to make a margarita michelada hybrid that'll blow everyone's pants the fuck off?
We're going to be talking in a little bit about some beer ideas that I had for this year. So you keep that in mind.
I was one of those. Oh,
no.
You keep. Did you think of one of those?
No, you keep that in mind. You keep that in mind because I have a couple of announcements as far as when I actually mention what beers I'm going to be making this year and a couple of things.
That's
so
awesome. You should
keep
put
that
out
in mind. Keep that in mind.
Okay, so so that in mind, a lot of people don't know who you are.
Okay, that's true.
So let's give a quick rundown of who you are, what you do, and your affiliation. Why do you do the things you do? What's up, Jeremy? What do you do? Who is you?
Okay, my name is Jermey Northwood. I have been homebrewing beer for 12 years. In that time, I've also been, in longer than 12 years, I've been a cook. I love doing barbecue, coming up with sauces and recipes and that kind of thing, like flavors and working with my hands. I'm also an artist. I like to sculpt with wood and clay and this sort of thing. I paint and draw. I've done work in a couple of off-film, not even B movies, we'll call them DF movies, that kind of thing. Just a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Okay.
But I got to beer, and man, the possibilities you can do with it, and
possibilities are endless.
Completely endless. I mean, if you think about it, it's probably already been done. Human history with beer is in the tens of thousands of years, if not reaching 100,000 years or so. And I'll tell you what, like, it doesn't matter, because if you get a good idea, go with it. And that's kind of what I have done with this. Is I just use flavors in the same way that an artist uses a palette of colors. And if you can understand the way certain flavors work with each other and how they complement, or even do the opposite of complementing each other, you can find a good way of balancing a dish. Well, it's the same thing with a beer. So, like, if strawberry works by itself, it's great. But you add cracked black pepper, and just like salt on a watermelon, well, it's the same idea that I have with beer. Well, you add this flavor, why not add something else to add a little bit of depth, a little bit of character, a little bit of something that's going to add something to your experience.
And your taste buds explode.
Yeah, that's the idea. I just want to explode people's brains and their taste buds and stuff like that. I mean,
brain buds.
I can't implant something into your head to make your head explode, so I might as well just, explode your mind. There you go.
Do it with beer.
Exactly. And the one thing I'm going to say about this, I mean, because I will definitely give credit where credit is due, but with this one, the most proud I have of it is not just because, okay, it's a little tart and it's refreshing and that kind of thing, but this is a good example anyway of what a lot of people in the beer industry believe, and it's actually true. With as hard as people are on the yellow fizzy beers, Coors, Miller High Life, which actually, if you're hard on Miller High Life, don't be. If you're hard on Pabst, don't be, because they're freaking awesome beers. If you're gonna drink some, if you know to gangsta lean and you can walk and drink a 40 at the same time without busting your teeth out, then you ain't got nothing to say knocking a 40 of Miller's. So anywho, they taste generic, whatever people say, but they are I've said before on the show, they are the hardest beers to brew because you can taste every little mistake. And this one actually is probably the first beer that I've ever been able to say I can't taste one goddamn fucking mistake in it. Like, I mean, I know when I'm covering up a mistake because the jalapeno has a good flavor or whatever else I added, and like, I can't taste a mistake, but I know it's probably in there. But this one, there's no way that you could miss a mistake.
Yeah, so. This one's very light, very crisp, but you can taste the intricacies.
Well, this particular beer, I am going to be coming back to this recipe.
Okay.
And I am going to be rebrewing this recipe. I'm going to tweak it a little bit so it'll have a little bit more alcohol, no more than 5%, because I still want it to be a light beer.
I'm not the biggest fan of that, but okay, we'll see how that works.
We'll see how the final one comes. A little bit more malt flavor, a little bit more agave, a little bit more smoke, that kind of thing. Just bump up the character a little bit more, but I am going to be remaking this beer again. So
I think it is a great summer beer, in all honesty. So okay. For people that aren't familiar, how long does a beer take to brew? From day one to bottle. Day one to you can open the bottle.
Okay. Depending on the style of beer.
Okay.
A beer like this, a month.
A month. Okay. So right now it is June 12th. Yeah, it's Tuesday, June 12th. Theoretically, you could have this good to go if you're going to redo it towards the end of July.
Yes.
Boom.
Yes, theoretically. In fact, actually, I could wait until the last week of June, which is probably realistically what it would be before I start brewing the first batches. Because I've got some equipment I still have to order, and then I still have to order my malts and my hops and stuff like that. But yes, they will be brewed soon.
Soon, good.
Soon.
What equipment are you looking to get? Because, you've brewed plenty of beer. As someone who brews tons of beer, what's on your wish list? What's the thing that you're like, I want to upgrade this, I want to upgrade that?
Okay, so the first thing on my list right away is going to be it's an this really cool 8.8 gallon small kettle, which is good for small batches of beer or for mashing small amounts of grain. And then I'm also looking to either upgrade my boiling kettle to a 30 gallon capacity, which right now I only have about a 26 gallon capacity, which kind of limits me between 20 and 23 gallons because of boil over room and such. Anybody who's made pasta knows boil over, or rice, same thing. But that, or I might spring for the extra $120 and get a 55 gallon, which means I could make an entire barrel's worth of beer all in one shot if I wanted to.
That's of boiling. Do you have the other equipment to be able to do that?
Yes, I already have the two 26 gallon kettles that I have. One that has a false bottom, so when I want to do full grain mashing, I can. But for the most part, nobody's actually asked the question before. But for the most part, I do most people would call it a mini mash, half mash, or something similar because I use malt extract, which is already a concentrated mashed version of what you've seen me do in person, where I soak the grains in hot water for an hour. Lauder it off.
So is this the stuff in the syrup, like the syrupy looking?
Yeah,
stuff
this is that
jug?
syrupy stuff, and the reason why I use it is because it's a very consistent product, and I already know what's in it. So and it saves so much time and equipment that I haven't put money into, because most of my time and most of my money goes into developing my recipes and such. But knowing that I have a base flavor, then it helps out, because then I can actually get the flavors that I want out of the grains that I actually do a full mash on. And that's why my brewing process, instead of taking like 5 hours, 4 hours, or something like that, because it's a simple just syrup brewing process, because I add those grains, because I do all the extra, and because I don't just use my base sugars from the syrup. I get most of my sugars from the actual malting process. From the mashing process. Then that's why I've been kind of doing a 2/3 to 1/3, 2/3 doing all of my own mashing, and then 1/3 using the malt syrup that's already pre-made that I order to make up for the amount of sugars that I have. It's a pretty standard technique in home brewing, and like Stone Brewing has used the technique for some of their beers, because it's a really consistent way of bumping up the amount of fermentable sugars and keeping a control on the type of flavors that you get in your mashing process.
That's crazy. So, like, beer making, a lot of chemistry goes into it.
Yes.
At its core, a very simple process. But the more you want to diversify, the more you want to make it, like, very specific, the more experimental you want to go, the more complex you could possibly get, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's one of those things. The term snatching victory out of the jaws of defeat, or snatching defeat out of the jaws of victory. It's the same thing either way with brewing. It can be as simple or as complicated as you want to make it. I mean, I use probably one of the simplest mashing processes while I'm brewing, whereas there are processes that in hours and hours, double decoction and triple decoction mashing, holy crap. I mean, I'm not even going to try and explain it, but It's mashing, remashing, and then remashing again. So, and it's usually for under modified malts.
You didn't say mashing a lot. What is mashing for people that don't?
Mashing is where you take the already malted grains and you take them. They should be crushed. If you haven't crushed them already, you can order them crushed. And essentially, what you do is you take these the malted grains, and you soak them in hot water. The water, depending on the amount of sugar you want to extract, has to be a certain temperature, and you let it soak. Pretty much just let it soak for an hour, like steeping tea. You're pretty much just making a malt tea. Exactly.
For those of you who in the tea world, a tisane. I brought it up earlier when I said this. So
no, it's true. The old saying that everybody you meet knows something you don't.
Yeah,
that is absolutely true. I've never heard that term until you taught me that today.
Yeah, tisane. So
amazing. Tisane.
Technically, if
tisane?
Tisane. If you want a fun fact,
I love facts.
Every tea,
random anything.
Every tea, which is very simple. It's like like you said, boiling water and putting a plant in there, and then drinking that juice. That's tea. Or every tea that is not made from a single plant is called a tisane, and that single plant is called Camellia sinensis. So black tea, green tea, white tea, pu'er technically, which is a fermented black tea. Those are all the same plant.
Fermented black. Where's that from?
Pu'er. I don't know if it's originated in China or not, but it essentially is just a black fermented tea.
So yeah, we're gonna have to talk about pu'er later because all of a sudden I have a really neat idea for a beer.
There you go.
Beer dreams are made here.
Pu'er Pilsner. I don't know. I like alliteration. But yeah, so your chamomile, your rooibos,
out of my mind. Get out of my mind. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, dude, I like alliteration.
Oh man, that's so funny.
All those teas.
Fuck you, bro.
All those teas you're familiar with that are not
you're mind fucking me, bro.
that are not white, green, black, or pu'er.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all tisanes. So chamomile, beer, before it's fermented, is just a tisane.
Okay, so beer. Then that means beer wort, spelled wort, but it is pronounced wort, not wart. Is just a barley or a rye or a wheat tisane.
Boom. Exactly.
Holy
more you know.
Oh my God, that's so great. I wish you had that cut in you could do, because I'm telling you what, like seriously. No, you totally taught me something I've never heard of ever.
And that's really why everyone tunes into Humpcast, really. It's not anything else.
It's the learning.
It's education, first and foremost, all right? Like, people are tuning in because they want to know more shit.
Why isn't this in schools? I know they have the internet now. I know they can see this stuff or hear this stuff.
I think
put it on your morning announcements,
And
little facts.
Today, Hunter Elementary School, we are going to get a clip from Humpcast where they teach you about the difference between teas and tisanes. You're welcome. And
we might teach you about tits and boobies.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
tits, boobies, teas, and tisanes.
Yeah, the more you know. This has been a program about food by Humpcast. Go listen to Humpcast, drink a lot of beer. Thank you. That is exactly what it would be. So there you go. All right. So we are both finished our glasses of a delicious agave ale. What is this, sir?
Okay. Well, I would say next. What would you call it? Next up on the mound. Next up at a bat.
Yeah.
It's baseball season, right? Should we be talking like baseball people?
I totally don't do sports. I'm sorry.
No.
People hate me for that.
We've got
just don't care.
Jalapeno honey IPA.
Next up at bat, we have the
Number
crowd favorite. I got. We have a crowd favorite here. We have jalapeno honey IPA. And this one is a doozy. It's coming in at a 7.8% alcohol by volume. And, of course, has been a fan favorite of everyone that's tried it so far. Stepping up to the bat. There's the pitch.
It's
good. It's gone. Out of the park it is. Oh, my God. You're welcome.
Oh, you're killing me. You're killing me, Smolds.
I try. Yeah, someone should hire me as a voice actor.
Hey, career choices.
Yeah, right?
Hey, you know what's great about this setup? How you have the camera and shit?
What?
The camera, everybody has to see the beer when I pass it to you.
That's very true.
So
well, that's one of the things. I really like the...
And you can see the light.
Live.
You can actually see the color of it.
You could.
And stuff.
Okay, so we just have a... Like, I mean, I guess it would be better if there's a light behind it. But either way, it's
no,
like a nice
you can still see the color.
golden,
Look at that.
I'm going to do this real quick. Where's... There.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Golden brown, honey-looking color.
Slight rose gold
because
color?
It's like a jalapeno honey. Cheers.
Cheers.
Salud.
Can you smell the jalapeno?
Oh, my God.
Hey, Ricky.
So good.
Ricky, we're trying to say you. Can you smell the jalapeno? Hey, Ryan.
Shout out Ricky D. Ricky C. Ryan
Ricky D. He's a big D because he can't be here. No,
so
you're not a D because you couldn't be here.
Why is this better than I remember? What the fuck?
Well, because it's 7.8 or so, and it ages very well. This was just a slightly heavier version than the normal 7.3 to 7.5.
This is my favorite beer. I could drink this whenever. I remember. Okay, you know what?
It's why it's my signature beer.
I love this so much. You have to understand, like, for the crowd, I'm not a big IPA person.
No, you're not. Actually.
I've come into it. I've tried many different IPAs. I found ones that I like. This one is both refreshing, stimulating with the jalapeno, soothing with the honey, and gives you a good buzz because it's like 7.8. You said?
Yeah, 7.8.
That's pretty perfect. Like, I want to say 8 is probably my go-to number. Everything above that's pretty strong. Everything below that is leaving something to be desired. I try and keep the rule of nothing below 6% unless it's like the only option. But just a 7.8% jalapeno honey IPA.
Now, normally it's 7.3, but you still get the same flavor profile. So you're not really missing much in just a couple of ABV points with between 8 and 5 or 8 and 3. So it really ends up being pretty perfect as far as a really nice balance of flavor. And I've actually thought about brewing this particular recipe without the jalapeno. And
that would just be a honey idea.
But to date, or even cutting out the jalapeno and the honey just to see what it tastes like. And to date, I have never done it, and I cannot bring myself to do it because I've never made a recipe that wasn't built around, like, building a show around the special guest.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when a special guest comes on Conan, they stick to a strict schedule, blah, 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 and all that. But, like,
Same
whenever
here.
I've come up...
we started at 10 p.m.
But like, for instance, whenever I've come on this show, like, you guys do your... You do your stories in your normal format, but you always give a lot of leeway. And not just me, but your other guests and such. Like when Jenny I know she doesn't like Jenny.
Yes, Jenny Nangle.
Jenny
Nangle.
When Jennifer Nangle is on and stuff like that, and the stuff you talk about is very centric to what she's talking about.
Of course.
And then whenever Solar Haze and a few of your other regular guests have been on, like the way that you guys will... Because the whole point of the show, having that guest, is talking about that and stuff like that.
Yeah,
you guys
the whole
aren't
point
trying
is to just be having a good conversation first and foremost.
Yeah.
Because we're not here trying to shoot some fireworks up your ass. It's not trying to be that internet.
Yeah.
Like, we're literally here trying to have a good conversation, and then...
You finished that already?
It is so fucking good, okay?
Okay, I know for fuck's sake that all of them, they saw you drink that beer. I did not. seriously, folks, I didn't even see him finish that. That was so fast.
Really?
We're gonna be moving on to the roasted red bell pepper very quick here in a second.
Yeah. So I want to say that I have a history with the jalapeno IPA. Of course, I've loved it ever since you first brought it. There have been different iterations of it, and I just remember
only slightly different, except for that crazy 11.2% one that you guys had that one time. That wasn't the Holla with the HOLI Peño beer. That because remember I did the Little Peño and the Holiday Peño.
Yeah.
No, this was that one before it that was like, oh, I'm sorry, it was like 10.8 to 11.2 or something like that, and that one was like one of those ass kicker. Yeah, that was an ass kicker for sure.
So my last apartment that I lived in, I remember having a growler. You filled up a whole growler for me.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
I remember that helped immensely in the moving in process of me going in and having to move in and paint and do all the things I was doing, and I was like, you know what? I have a whole growler of beer in there. So, and it might have even been these glasses, these specific glasses, where I'm just like, I'm just gonna pour a beer real quick.
These are perfect glasses. I know they're Sam Adams glasses, but
well,
these are perfect for the jalapeno beer because they do everything that they're supposed to do for Sam Adams, except that they work with these because the laser etching. Are these laser etched?
I don't know. Let's just say yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, laser etching and the shape and.
But either way, the shape is I think great for beers.
Yeah, most definitely, especially beers. Hoppy ones. Yeah,
yeah, like and that's what I predominantly drink. I mean,
that's why tulips are so important as far as like certain beers.
Yeah,
beer styles, if you weren't drinking them out of a tulip or whatever, you wouldn't get the same character.
And it's the same thing with wine. So wine, people, you understand it.
Good point. Good point with the wine.
Different glasses give you different notes. And I think it's so interesting. Whenever I would work at a bar, especially a sports bar, I would always get someone like, oh, let me get that Belgian beer or that triple IPA. Can you put it in a pint, though? And me first, I'm like, okay, well, I mean, I can't give you more of it because generally it's a larger glass. Like, no, I get it. Just put it in that glass because I don't want a sissy glass. And I'm like, ugh.
Sissy glass. Because, and the stupidest thing. Okay. Really quickly, not going to go into a big thing about it, but the only reason why you get mostly those pint glasses, and they call them pint glasses, but they're not actually, when served, you're not all the time getting a full pint, which is, 16 ounces?
Yes.
You're not getting a full 16 ounces. You're getting anywhere between 12 and 14 ounces, but you're paying for a pint. Mm-hmm. And the reason why is because of the size of the glass. Now, beer should have a head on it, and if you were to get a full pint of beer, you would have to have that all the way up to the edge to get it. The reason why it's so off with pint glasses is because they were never intended to be used for beer. They were, in fact, intended only for use in mixing drinks. That's why you see anybody at a bartender who's mixing a drink, they're putting the shaker and a pint glass, and they're shaking it in that, and then they smack the side of it, and they empty out the metal container into a glass or a strainer and shit like that. And that's what those glasses are made for. They're very cheap, though. So, because they're very cheap, breweries will buy them for promotional purposes and will give them away free to different bars and other restaurants, locations, and shit. So it ends up, because they're free glassware and you're going to shake a stick at free, they end up being used for beer. And they're not the best vessel for beer.
That's so weird. That's, I believe, the more you know.
Nice.
I like having a podcast. It's fun.
Oh, that was great.
Right?
I love that.
Thank you. No, that's very interesting. I enjoy having like that information. It's so cool.
I'm going to grab the red real quick.
Do it. Don't forget headphones. I don't know if they caught that. I did. You almost destroyed yourself. Yeah, but I mean, like, it's so interesting that so many places give away these free glasses that are not good for beer.
But they use it to promote beer, so go figure.
You want to know actually what's interesting?
Cheap is cheap, though. I mean, I guess you can't really shake a stick at that.
No, of course not. Give me 1 second. I want to show you something that I got over the weekend, and I'll tell you about my story and my weekend.
Ooh, sounds fantastic. Open that red pepper beer when you get a chance, and I'll go ahead and pour that out. So let's see. Basically, the only new beer that I ended up bringing in tonight was the agave. We're going to finish off pretty much the last of my 2017 beers, which were the ones that were that I had on the last show, the jalapeno honey IPA, at least this batch, the red pepper, roasted red bell pepper red ale, and the Jamaican jerk stout.
And, okay, I have a quick question.
What's that?
It is June 12th. Today.
Yes.
You have beers from last year still?
Yes.
Why? But why though?
Because they age well, and because I like saving them to share with friends and with you guys on the show. I mean, I guess I could suck up to you guys, but I don't really need. I don't really need to.
No, you don't. But you're welcome to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need to, but I like to.
Yeah.
Plus, like I told you on the last show, I'm always banking the next episode or two.
Hey,
but no. Honestly, it's because I can save them, so I do save them.
Okay, cool.
So that way, I can, like, cases like this where, somebody's like, "Hey, do you have any more of that beer?" or something like that, and I can come over. Yeah. In this case, come on the show and have something to bring besides just a few bottles of a new one, and then talk about some new ones.
So what is this now?
This is the roasted red bell pepper red ale that I made. 8.3% ABV, and it's just American style red ale, nice and bitter and hoppy. R. Yes. And it's got a lot of hops, and it's got a lot of roasted red bell pepper.
I'm calling it right now. It's the Triple R roasted red ale. Roasted red ale. Boom. Triple R.
How come I never put that together?
That's why I'm here, bros. That's why I'm here.
That's why you get paid the medium bucks.
I get paid the medium bucks for that. Also, I appreciate that. Thank you. I wanted to show this to you. So, over the weekend, I actually went down to San Diego only for a day trip, so I didn't really have enough time to do a lot.
They get to see me pour.
There you go. So I did have enough time to actually make it to 3 different brewing companies. The first being Thorn Brewing Company, which is a smaller one in North Park, which I really enjoyed a lot of their stuff. I would say that
I already like the glass shape because I love those style. The glass cans.
Yeah, these are really cool. I've seen a few of these. This one specifically is from a different brewery, but I'm going to talk about Thorn.
Yeah, sorry.
Thorn has a regular, it's a New England style IPA. It's juicy, and it is called the Hopster Pot IPA. It is one of the most delicious IPAs I've ever had for my taste buds. Okay. I like juicy. I like not overly bitter, and it's a good 7 to 7 something % alcohol by volume. Great.
Is it a hazy New England style IPA?
It is.
Okay, so the hazy, unfiltered, juicy,
all of that stuff.
Okay.
And then their second one, because I got a flight essentially.
So many hints in this entire evening.
And then the one that I really, really enjoyed, and I think you would enjoy, is called the Dark Tsar. And this is
Dark Tsar?
This is their Russian Imperial Stout.
Okay.
There's a lot of Russian.
One of my absolute favorite Imperial Stouts is called the Tsar by Avery.
Yeah.
So
this might be a take on it. I love Avery Brewing Company from Colorado. And they generally have delicious shit.
I just mean if it's called the Dark Tsar.
The Dark Tsar is amazing. So this is the thing. I always find this interesting. There are a lot of Russian Imperial Stouts out there, so it's very hard to be like, oh, this one is different in this sense, and this one is different in that sense, unless they specifically tell you it has these different notes. This one didn't say shit, except it was a Russian Imperial Stout. 10%, and it was like amazing. It was the most flavorful, not overly
And only 10%.
bitter. Yeah, not overly
That's
bitter.
amazing.
And it was just 10 something maybe. It might have been, but it was
But
it said start with 10 for sure.
Still,
And
10% is like that's pretty like kind of medium, middle of the road
For a Russian Imperial?
Yeah, exactly. So if you can pull off a shit ton of flavor and only have to get like that high, like hats off to you.
Yeah, this one was nice. I enjoyed it a lot. Then I went from Thorn Brewing Company to this place called Hess Brewing Company. It's Mike Hess Brewing Company, and they have a really good art department. For more or less, I don't know what better way to say it. This is the glass that they gave me. So you get 5 pours of 5. I think it's like 4 or 5 ounces, flights. And they give you a free commemorative cup, glass, whatever. And this one's in the shape of a can. And there's 14 different designs. The one that I chose is this really cool, like, tiger-looking thing. It's a tribal tiger. I'm showing it to the people who are looking live.
It's not because you're Asian, right?
Not at all. I mean, maybe my Asian eyes.
There's hops.
Really
there's
cool.
hops in there. No, look.
Oh yeah, no,
hops and
there's
hops and there's the grains.
Boom.
And then hop leaves and stuff. Damn, look, hops inside there.
It's a cool design, bro.
Dude, that's awesome. And look, there's the hop leaves designed into the stripes of the tiger and shit. And dude, that's a freaking
really
cool glass. Holy
shit.
shit.
They had 14 designs. So I'm up there. They're like, oh yeah, just bring.
Good job, guys.
Holy shit. They just bring your glasses back to us after your flight, and we'll give you a glass. You get to pick one from one of these. So, mind you, I've already had a lot of beer at this point. Like, I had a flight at Thorn. I wasn't driving, so that was good. I had a flight at Thorn. I picked the one that I liked, was the Hopster, because the Dark Czar was really good, but I couldn't take a full pour. So I took a full pour of the Hopster Pot, which is their IPA, the New England style IPA.
Mm-hmm.
Then drove straight
over
over there.
Do you remember what the ABV on that was?
That was 7 something.
Okay, they're usually pretty light to medium.
But like I said, usually unless they had actually some interesting stuff. They had a Chilean. It's Chili Cabra is the name of it. It was a chili
Cabra
pale ale. A chili pale ale. And
you color me super interested. Okay.
Well, here's the thing. It was an interesting concept, which is why I got it. But you taste so much chili, and then it immediately drops off in flavor, and that was where I was disappointed. It starts off, it's spicy, and nothing.
You know what? I gotta tell you, that's unfortunately. Unfortunately, one of the things I've ran into with a lot of beers that a lot of breweries put out, they're good beers, but they do not deliver what they advertise as far as the flavor of the chili. Like when you tell me you've got Chipotle in your stout, and I'm not going to name brewery names because I still like the beers. It's just Cheers. Roasted red bell pepper red ale.
Triple R.
Yeah.
Which
that just keeps getting better. Like
I already have
the development of the malts on this.
It smells so good.
Like you still get all of the roasted bell pepper flavor that you got the first time you drink it, but at the same time there's a little bit more complexity to it now. Like the malts have really done something.
Here's another thing. Why do beers change in the bottle over time?
Because you lose a lot of volatiles. When I say volatiles, I mean like volatile like aromas. Aromas would be considered volatiles because they interact with oxygen and then will dissipate. Same thing with other certain flavors, like when you cook them, like onions. When you're cooking an onion, all of the sharp smells that you get, those are volatiles. All of those sulfuric compounds that come out of it, and shit like that, and not like what it is when the sulfur comes out of it and it mixes with your tears and creates sulfuric acid, which is why you cry. It's what gives you that sharp smell, that specific sharp smell that you get when you cook an onion or garlic. Or a leek, anything from the garlic or the onion family.
I need you to answer the question for me. Have you
Of
ever tried, thought about, or seen a beer that contains onion?
Yes, I've actually made one or two.
Really?
Yes.
Not since you've known me.
Yes.
Why have I not tried this?
You have.
Why do I not remember trying this?
Because you didn't taste the onion. It was a complementary flavor added to the beer.
Which one?
They're sitting in your refrigerator
The jerk?
right
That's
now.
what I was saying.
The Jamaican jerk stuff.
Okay, that is very
those
different.
those had fire roasted fresh green onions put on. There is a beer, and I wish I could remember. I'm sure one of your beer loving beerophile listeners might know. It is a beer that uses Maui onions. It is brewed with, fermented with. I'm not sure where it's added in the process, but they use Maui onions, which are a sweeter onion.
Okay, so I have a beer idea right now. It's
Okay.
more based off of a name.
Another one.
Yes.
What was the other one from earlier we needed to discuss?
Was it the name of just the triple R?
No,
it was a beer, actual beer one.
No, we're gonna go back and listen to. No.
Yeah, we're on a recorded.
It was
we're on a
the
recorded
no.
idea.
It was the tea one. It was the tea,
Tisane.
the Tisane Chinese beer thing.
Yeah,
That we were talking
Pu'er.
about. Yeah,
Pu'er Pilsner.
We were talking about Pu'er Pilsner. That's right. Okay,
called Caramelize Me Captain, and it is
Caramelize Me
it's
Captain.
It's a caramelized onion cereal, essentially cereal flavored beer. So you get the sweetness and the savoriness of the caramelized onion matched with the sort of breadiness and cereal flavor of whatever makes cereal taste that way. But essentially what you're thinking of is caramelized onions on toast. Think of that, plus a little sweeter, and make that into a beer that I'm trying to think of what would go well, style it would go well with.
Okay, I already got it.
It's called Caramelize Me Captain. Caramelize Me Captain.
Already got
and
it.
Just like it's Crunchitize Me Captain, is that, and it's Captain Crunch and caramelized onion beer. You're welcome. Not you watching, but this guy.
I already know what style of beer.
Boom.
I already know. We're gonna talk about it off
Caramelize
camera.
Me Captain Kolsch.
Well, see now you're getting very specific on the style of beer, because when you say Kolsch, it has to be a Kolsch style beer. But
I know. I was just throwing shit out there.
No, that's actually not a bad idea as far as you know what? I'll have to do some research on Kolsch's if you want to stick with the Kolsch.
Caramel Kolsch. Caramelized Kolsch.
No, I wouldn't do Karma Kolsch because it sounds too much like Karma Chameleon.
Karma Kolsch.
Exactly.
I'm okay with
No. Honestly, though, with that idea for beer, I already know what style.
Dude,
I already know his style.
this.
We're gonna have something really cool. Some
love-
notes to make when we get off.
Yeah,
so.
I love coming up with this shit, and I love that you are probably somebody that would make a good amount of this stuff. So I'm very interested. All right, that was a good amount of stuff. And so, where can people find you and stuff that you're doing? You are just getting back onto social media, I believe, correct?
Yeah. Actually, I've been off social media for a little while. Basically, it's just been taking care of some personal stuff, family stuff. There was a death in the family, doing that, just basically doing the whole depression thing, and then at the same time,
Stop it.
but at the same time, throwing in doing some artwork stuff, which I still haven't started posting yet. I know I'm really lazy about it and shit, and a little bit like shy about my artwork junk. But anywho, doing that, and then actually coming up with some gosh, I'd say 4 or 5 out of 8 new recipes for 2008 beer wise. So
Nice.
yeah, I got some cool stuff coming, guys. Really, really neat ideas. I'm also going to be revisiting some other beers, and not just like the agave that
Rebooting these beers, possibly.
Well, okay, the agave I think might be a reboot, but I will be making the jalapeno honey again. That's my regular. And it's a little too bad that we weren't able to
I'll put in an order for a growler of that.
Seance. Oh, absolutely. You can put in a couple because I'm making plenty.
Seance,
and
Ricky
it's too
C.
bad we weren't able to seance Ricky C tonight.
I know. That's unfortunate. He was actually
wanted to let him know in person that I will be making... I will be making Misha fucking Lotta beer. I will actually be making that beer this year.
Is this duck? Oh, it's duck.
Yeah.
Too loud. Too close.
Too close. Much better.
This is like my favorite song ever.
He said Michoacan. I am from the America Michoacan.
Michigan?
Michigan, yes.
Perfect.
I think I recognize every 4th word he's saying.
Okay. Well, it's good for you. Okay, we're done with that now. That's enough of that. All right, we're doing that.
So besides agave, and I know it's very Mexocentric, but I'm doing, I will be doing the smoked agave, the jalapeno honey, and the michelada. But I'll also be doing a few new beers. The first one that I'll mention is my 2018 Naughty Beer, which is my Christmas beer. And this year I've decided that I am going to do a mix of 2 different styles of beer. And since nobody is doing black IPAs anymore, I'm going to do a black IPA.
What is a black IPA?
A black IPA is an IPA beer that uses black malts, which contribute a lot of like chocolate, coffee flavors and such. A really good one is that one we had tonight called Night Rider. I'm sorry, I forgot the name of the brewery right off the top of my head.
I believe it's something that I'm gonna look up because I forgot it too.
But it was a really good rye black IPA. But I don't see that. I haven't seen that style out in stores lately, and I know that it was a very kind of like one of those popular things that happened, and then it sort of went out of style, and not too many people. Barrel House, yeah, Barrel House. Good job, guys.
I'm not super acquainted with their works. However, it's really nice. So Barrel House is coming out of. It's a California-based one. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Where though?
I'll be damned.
Now I'm very curious.
Yeah.
Barrel House Brewing Company.
And they do a lot. I gotta tell you, okay, it is very easy to get them mixed up with modern times because
their font is very similar.
Yeah, the font, their labels they're so almost exact. It's crazy, but yeah, their black rye IPA is really good.
So they have locations in Paso Robles, San Luis Obispo, and Visalia. I've never even heard of Visalia. Never heard of that. Visalia or
where
Visalia?
in the hell is Visalia?
I've never heard of this place. What is this fictional place?
It must be in California. It's California.
First thing I see is this butt right here. The butt.
Okay.
Pink butt.
Oh yeah, there's a giant pink butt in that picture.
I'm cool with that.
That is a big pink butt.
Yeah, I like
hey,
that.
Fuck it. It's a giant marshmallow peep.
All right. Beep beep
Beep beep.
Cool. Yes. So shout out Barrel House Brewing Company for their Night Rider Dark IP. What is dark?
Yep, it's a black IPA.
Rye IPA.
Yeah, it's made with rye. So I'm doing a
black rye PA.
There you go, rye PA.
You're welcome. It was amazing. No, I tried it. It was really good.
So I'm going to be doing a black IPA. Now, it's not the first black IPA I've made. This will be probably the third one. But what I'm doing with this one is going to be a little bit different. I don't have a name for it yet or anything like that, except for just the Naughty 2008 title. I only have a working title, but I don't want to say it because I don't know if it's copyright infringement or something like that. But anyway, it will have grapefruit and coffee in it. And it will also be, since I said I was mixing two different styles, I'm going to make it a New England style unfiltered black IPA featuring grapefruit and coffee.
What the shit fuck did you just said to me?
It is going to be probably the juiciest, coffeeiest black IPA ever. Like, you're going to get all the sharpness and the bite that you have in the same coffee biteness that you have in coffee and that you still have in a grapefruit, but all in something so juicy, you're not going to know what the fuck your tongue is doing. That's about the only way I can describe it for you.
What the actual fuck?
I don't know. What the ass, right?
I want to name it so bad right now.
I don't.
So juicy grapefruit, hazy coffee.
And the other thing is because, okay, look, I've been doing a lot of research on East Coast IPAs, these hazy IPAs and such, and everybody's trying to emulate these juicy East Coast flavors. Well, I love them. I think I was very hesitant about approaching this style, but I finally did. I was happy I did it, and I came up with the conclusion that the only thing left to do as just coming up with something that's a little bit different is making it, instead of doing the typical usual East Coast tropical juicy whatever flavors, why not add the bitiness of a West Coast IPA mixed with the smoothness of an East Coast IPA? And then you just add the rest.
What is...
Boom!
Okay.
Boom.
All right, so for those not familiar, West Coast IPAs tend to be a lot more hoppy, more piney.
Piney, citrusy.
And East Coast tends to be more...
fruity, juicy, slightly piney.
Why the fuck am I over here then trying these pine bombs when all I want is fresh?
Pine is more north West Coast, and citrus more southern West Coast. So that's why if you notice, if you go to like San Diego, you're gonna get a lot of citrusy hot bombs. But if you go to, say, Washington, Seattle area, Oregon, Portland, Bend area, you're going to get a lot more like pinier flavors.
I will say that
northwestern flavors.
Yeah, so the Hopster Pot, which is a really nice New England style juicy IPA, not very bitter. But one I tried that was also like that, but better, in my opinion, is the Modern Times Avalon IPA. Also juicy, hazy, and not bitter.
Avalon. I don't know if I don't think I'm familiar with that.
I drank a lot
Ooh,
of that.
That's a good one I should start looking out for then, right?
And one of my favorite things was at one of the restaurants that I went down there, they messed up my order, and I didn't even say anything. They just noticed that my order was wrong when they came over. Like, oh, shit, I didn't do that. That was my fault. Can I buy you a beer? And I'm like, what did you say?
All you heard was beer, buy, yeah, sure. Yeah, I don't have to.
Like it was a minute thing where I'm like, I wasn't gonna complain about it, and I didn't. I noticed it. I was like, yeah, that's fine, I guess. Like I wanted it differently, but they just forgot or whatever happened.
Was it like a steak or something?
No, it was literally like, okay, so the exact thing was this thing comes with fries on inside of a thing with broth. And I'm like, I don't like soggy fries. Can you just put the fries on the side? That's it. And it came over, and the fries were all in there, and like they're all soggy. And I'm like, whatever. I mean, like, I'll still eat the rest of the thing. Like, it's still good. And I was eating it, fine. Like, whatever. I had no complaint. I didn't call anyone, flag anyone down or whatever. She just came over, and she's like, oh, my God, I totally forgot to do the thing. And she said it. She didn't say it, like they messed it up or anything. She's like, I forgot to put those on the side. Can I, like, buy you a beer or something? I'm like, what? What did you said to me? What?
That is amazing.
Yeah, she's
great. Hey,
she's
shout out to your
I'm
server.
Yeah,
Holy
I'm
shit.
sorry that I did that. Can I just buy you a beer? I'm like, yes, you can buy me a beer. like not even caring about the thing that's in front of me. I'm just like, yeah, you can buy me a beer.
And I heard the beer.
as someone who has worked in the industry, it's not like they're buying me a beer.
Yeah, and it's not like
they're gonna go over to the bartender and be like, hey, I fucked up this guy's order. Can you just pour me a beer? And they'll be like, yeah.
Exactly.
That's
I
it.
mean, yeah. And the funny thing is,
and I watched her. That's what she did. Like, she didn't go to a manager. She pulled out her own wallet. She's one of those like, hey, can you pour me a beer? And they're like, yeah, fine.
What's great is when you get those servers that do that kind of thing for you. They're not like those jerk servers that are having
bad days, and
a bad day, or even just a crappy attitude to begin with, and they're just like, whatever. Like, sometimes people really care. It's awesome when that happens.
Good at their jobs, which is what I.
Yeah.
No idea. And honestly, it's something that
very simply, that's the best part.
It's so weird because I mean, it's okay. So I have friends who are in the. Sorry, excuse me, my burp.
Good, I'll grab a beer while you're doing it.
Cool. I have friends who are watch your headphones.
Yep. I remembered this time.
Sweet. I have friends who are in the service industry, and it has made them extremely sensitive to other people that work in the service industry, which I get, and it's fine. Yes. Absolutely. And so it's made them very sensitive to these people. However, for me and plenty of other people I know, it's made them very aware of other people. So while I can see someone who's having a bad day, I'm like, oh, they're having a bad day. You know, and like I understand things. There's also the thing where I see someone, I'm like, they're just a really bad server. Like, I'm watching them, and they're just like fucking around with their friends and like literally just forgetting everything. Not apologizing, not talking, not doing anything that you would expect a server to do. And I'm like, no, that's not. And while my friends who are very sensitive, they're like, oh, no, like, I understand their job. I'm going to give them, like, 25% to these shitty servers.
Oh, man.
I'm like, no, fuck no. Like, I understand. I'm like, I came in on a Wednesday at 3 p.m. where it's dead, and they're still fucking up my shit. That's bad. Like,
and when you know that's what's going on, like that's what makes it even worse. Too,
and
you're like, there's no excuse.
There, yeah. Exactly. I'm watching them. They're just standing there and be like, it's so dead, you guys. Like talking to the people. I'm like,
yeah.
I am so thirsty right now. My water and my beer are empty. Like, I want to order another beer from you.
Hello.
Yeah. And they're just like, yeah, they're just like saying,
yeah, they're literally standing around the fucking water soda machine. Fucking.
I'm like, I haven't seen you in 20
it's
minutes.
So dead. I wish I was at home.
I finished half my food. This beer has been gone for a good 10 minutes at least. Like, just can you fucking look at me? Just make eye contact so I can be like, hey, can I get another beer? Can I please?
And then you act like I'm bothering you when you fucking come over. Like, what? What the fuck?
Okay, so here's the thing. As someone who's in the industry, I'm like, I'm not even asking you to be the fucking.
No, I've been on the other. I've been on the other
Superwoman.
side of the counter as a cook in the industry. Mm-hmm. So yeah, when you're talking about serving or restaurant, yeah, I've done the cooking part. So
just be average at your job. Like, I don't even get
even average.
Yeah.
Come on. All you cooks and other people, average. Oh,
okay. Imagine this.
You want to hear this?
No, I was gonna say,
go ahead.
Imagine you hire a plumber, and you hire a plumber to fix your leaky faucet.
Yeah.
And then they come over, spend 5 hours in the bathroom, and then they say they're done. And then you go in the bathroom, and you still see a drip every before it was like a drip every like 20 seconds. Now it's a drip every like hour. You're like, what was that? What did I just hear?
It's still there.
There's still a drip. Granted, I know plumbing, and I know that's not really a thing. I'm just saying.
No.
You hire
but
someone.
the idea, yeah.
You have someone for a job, and they just don't do that job.
And you're still expected to tip them.
That's the main thing. So
no wonder why bartenders in Europe don't get tipped, because they're expected to do their job. Whereas here, you do it. You tip a bartender, you tip a waiter. Well, thanks for doing a good job, or thanks for doing a little extra. Like I get the little extra. I get it because service industry is demanding as fuck. I'll tell you what. Like, people are dicks. It doesn't matter what. They're having a good time. They're going out to have a good time, whatever, and they expect the best, even though they're paying chump change.
Oh,
It doesn't mean they're not paying for the service, but the fact remains is people get demanding dicks. Like, it's crazy when you get all like, again, I got my paycheck rich and stuff like that, and you decide to go out for a fucking meal with your girl, and you're all wearing tank tops and fucking board shorts and shit, but you're going to order a fucking $6 steak and expect you to get fucking, $20, $30 treatment and shit like that. Like, you went to a steakhouse and you're going to be a dickhead.
Where's the $6?
I don't know, Denny's, I suppose. I don't know. No, they're like $12 or something like that for a T-bone, something like that.
I will do that.
Either way, don't go into a place like everybody should be treated like a customer, but when the customer acts like a cocksucker, get ready to be treated like a cocksucker.
That's the thing. It's always about like it's always about who they are before that. So as someone who's in the industry, I've had people literally get pissed at me because they're like, "Hey, do you have quarters to feed the meter?" And I'm like, "Oh, sorry, I don't carry change." I can go ask the bartender if he has, like, because they have a cash register. Like, I can go ask them. He's like, no, don't even bother. And he gets up, and like walks away. And I'm like, okay.
Like, it's your fault though, because
I don't have a fucking ching 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 of fucking quarters on my ass.
Exactly.
Like, I'm like, okay,
you're supposed to have
I was
those
being very
just
nice.
right on hand.
And it was like, as I introduced, hi, my name's Garrett. Like, oh, do you have quarters for the meter? I'm like, oh, no, I don't carry any quarters, but if you have $1 or something, I can go get change for you.
Can you validate my parking?
And he's like, don't even bother. You know,
that doesn't make sense because it's only going to take 2 seconds later.
The funniest part is always when there's someone else in their party.
Excuse me.
Whether it's their family or their girlfriend or whoever, and they're just like, I'm sorry. They're an asshole. I understand. They're an asshole. And yeah, it's ridiculous. Just
so people know, I don't endorse smoking at all. Like, I'm not against it, but this is weed, not tobacco. So.
And it's a
cool.
It's a vape pen that leaves no residue nor anything in anything. So
no tobacco here, no nicotine. Sorry, I'm not gonna get. I'm not endorsing that shit.
Don't endorse. Yeah. Okay. All right. That being said, we have gone on for a bit, and we are now gonna get into some entertainment news. Sound cool, dude?
Fuck yeah, let's do that.
Let's do it. Now let's hit the thing real quick.
And
we're in it. Just kidding.
There we go.
I may have some news for you. Go ahead.
Entertainment news, everybody. This just broke out.
Hi, you're on a rock, floating in space. Pretty cool, huh? Some of it's water. Fuck it. Actually, most of it's water. I can't even get from here to there without buying a boat. It's sad. I'm sad. I miss you. How did this happen? A long time ago. Actually, never.
Periods attract bears.
I just realized that the thing that I was playing played something else, so sorry about that. Like, literally, I was like, what am I hearing right now? Sorry.
Their periods attract bears.
Sorry. All right, so we are in the entertainment portion, and I really am behind on my movies. I've been so busy, you guys.
I've been so behind. I'll just tell you right now, only interrupting to tell you, I don't care about spoilers. but there's a whole lot of movies I ain't seen, so talk about whatever, man.
Fair enough. We are still not going to talk about spoilers because
good job.
we at least as I try and keep it, a good wholesome podcast that is not going to spoil shit for you.
You guys are good at that.
However-
You were definitely good at that.
Yeah, it's really more me trying to hold Ryan D at bay. Yeah, in all honesty. But
Ryan D, I miss you, dude.
Yeah, dude. Sorry, you have a weird job now. So Ryan, I know Ryan D openly says a lot of stuff on here. So before he was like, I don't have a job. I'm all fucking everything sucks. And so he got a job.
I'm a duck.
He's a duck. Now he got a job, but now he can't be on the podcast very often, if at all, because of the fact that he got a job. But it's like all the time that we fucking do the things. Like the earliest he can do a podcast, or sorry, the latest he can do a podcast usually is about 1 p.m.
Oh,
because he goes in at 3.
Okay. Oh,
So maybe even earlier than that.
shit.
In all honesty, to be like I would be cutting it close. And of course, I don't recommend him drinking, so I don't know. Like,
Damn,
he
man.
generally works 3 to 10, and then lately he's been doing other like bonus shifts because his coworker's been on vacation. So he's just been like super busy and like always be like, I can't do anything. I'm tired. Blah blah blah.
Why
And
does he just sleep
understandable.
here sometimes then?
I-
Sleep here on a Monday or a Tuesday.
Don't even get me started. Do not. All right.
Don't invite somebody to sleep on my couch.
No, I mean he's always welcome here. I'm saying don't get me started.
No,
on
there's
why
yeah.
he does or does not do anything. That his life is his own, and I respect that.
No.
Do your own shit.
Okay, so what's going on?
This week in movies, we had Solo, a Star Wars movie, getting kicked the fuck down from number 1 to number 2 by Ocean's 8.
Ocean's what?
Yeah, the new
Oh my
Sandra
God.
Bullock movie.
You're shitting me.
And this is why. Have you
Jesus.
seen Solo?
No, I haven't. But look, I've been reading all of the reviews.
Did
about
you hear?
it
Did you hear what we
and-
said?
Yes, I did. And you know what? I listened to it on the. I think it was the last show you guys.
Very
did.
disappointed.
It was the last episode, right? That you guys were talking about it, and
the last 2 episodes at least. So
okay,
So Ryan D actually saw Solo first,
uh-huh.
I believe, and he got an advanced screening of it. Ricky and I saw it after, and even though Ryan loved it, I think I don't remember.
Uh-huh.
I was very disappointed. Very disappointed.
Now, okay, were you disappointed from a
From the point-
somebody who's very familiar with the I guess it's called the extended universe, which is no longer canon, or
okay, so no.
like where are you coming from with
Here's
that?
my thing. I think that this is a very good movie that is disserviced by the fact that it's called Solo.
Okay,
So if there
Okay.
if this were a scoundrel movie, whatever,
maybe somebody who wasn't called Han Solo.
someone that we did no idea who this was.
Okay, this was one of
This would
those
be a
separate, like what they're saying
If-
Ryan Johnson
Yes.
is supposed to start doing
Yes.
with his own sequel, like ignore the original and do some other characters or something.
If this were something that had nothing to do with the characters that we have already established, I think it would be a lot better. Because of the fact that they went
Okay.
for a prequel that is an essentially an origin story.
oh,
about a
yeah, you're right. Yeah, it is kind of.
And did such a poor job at creating the character that's already been established. I was just like, why is this a thing? Also, that being said,
Yeah.
without taking that into, there are very many lazy, in my opinion, lazy writing moments. And what I call those moments
Okay.
are moments where I look at them, I'm watching the movie, and it takes me out because the writing is so much of like, oh my God. And you do an eye
Like
roll.
when you say
do an eye roll. You're
writing,
like,
like you
oh,
mean
God.
like the dialogue or
dialogue,
just the situation, all of it in general, or
mostly dialogue and exposition. So,
okay.
for instance, and I'm not going to spoil anything, there's a moment where it's like,
oh no, please don't, please, and you say it to yourself, please don't explain this way, and then they're like, I'm explaining things this way, and you're like, oh fuck. You just do an eye roll because like
okay,
you can see
I've
it
got
coming.
this. I've
you
got
can see
this
it coming as a
pukey-
warning. You're like, why did you
I've
do
got this
that?
pukey feeling.
You could have done anything.
when you say that.
You could have done anything else. You could have made a joke about how easy that would have been, and then you really do something different. But you just went for the easy, like the lowest hanging fruit.
Okay, now, because I haven't seen the movie, I'm going to use as an example of what I consider my equivalent to what you're talking about, and only because I haven't seen the movie yet.
Yeah.
And I'll try and make this as brief as possible. Remember in The Force Awakens when
Okay,
Fucking-
maybe spoiler for Force Awakens. So
oh my god, if you haven't seen Force Awakens,
you probably aren't. What? Okay, we're gonna talk about that later. I guess.
So, okay, in The Force Awakens, when they have Harrison Ford saying, "You tell blah, 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 blah," whatever the name of the fucking person who stole the Millennium Falcon, that Han Solo is just stolen back the Millennium Falcon. And then they mention, like, the Millennium Falcon and Han Solo, like, 4 or 8 times in that entire fucking scene when she's like, wait a minute, you're Han Solo? Wait, this is the Millennium Falcon, the ship that did the Kessel Run in 14 parsecs? 12! And shit, like, that whole digging it in, twisting the knife type of idea of, like, when I saw that coming, and I hate it when it happens because sometimes I'll do that with certain movies like you just said.
Yeah.
But I saw that coming where I was like, don't say it over and over. Don't say it over and over. Don't say it over and over. Don't try and legitimize the character of Han Solo because we all know Han Solo. Oh, they did it. Oh, God. And I wish I had plugged my ears with wax. Or just dug my eardrums out with a fucking with an apple core.
Ugh, yeah,
Something Jesus. God.
So, yeah, I understand what you're talking about, and I think a lot of movies suffer from this, where especially ones that either try and pick up where an older movie left off, or ones that are just really trying to make a franchise.
Yeah,
they just try to hammer exposition into you, and it doesn't work that way. So 2 examples, and I'm a fan of a lot of these source materials. So don't get me wrong. Star Wars is a good example of this. The newer Star Wars, I believe that they are very much trying to hammer exposition into you for a lot of these. And the DC universe, which is very touchy. That reaction right there.
Yeah, you're right.
Right
you're
there.
right. You're right.
Is an example of what I'm saying.
Yep.
So you watch any of the DC movies, they're just like, here's the exposition about the last 20 years of DC history and random shit that you don't care about. And then, like you were talking about with certain Star Wars films, they're just like, here's some random history about this and the exact situation we're going to be in, and maybe some foreshadowing. Exposition. And I'm just like, ugh. Why are we doing this? Did any of us even go to filmmaking school?
And of course, most of us have never been to filmmaking school, so.
But I would imagine the people who made the films did. You know what I mean?
So they would be the ones who should know better the best.
Exactly.
So what the fuck are they doing most of the time?
So
sitting on their thumbs and playing Switch.
Why are you doing this? I'm like, no one needs this. I don't care if I don't care if I've seen all of the Star Wars films, read all the books and the comics and the games, whatever. There is no reason or have not seen a single Star Wars film ever. There's no reason for you to repeat this thing so many fucking times, because by the time you're done, I'm just like,
I'm sorry, this is Star Wars, not Star Trek, and you are not Bill Shatner. Come on. He did it the best. He could repeat himself so well. I mean, come on, you were just doing it better than me, and I wasn't even trying there for a second there. I was just...
You could really Try as hard
Hey,
as you possibly could. However, I don't think that you will make it
no, you're getting Obama.
quite as good as
No,
I.
you're Bill
Oh,
Shatner turned
yeah,
into
yeah.
Obama. That was a pretty good
Yeah,
Obama
right.
though for a second there.
I think that you will.
My fellow Americans, I just wanted to tell
You will not get it quite
Bill Shatner.
as well as I think I can.
See, you're doing pretty good, dude. That's
I
not
will
too
put
goddamn
my-
bad.
Earnest, hardest level of trying into this, and no matter what,
You okay?
for the American people, I will deliver in what I say I'm gonna do.
Okay, your nick. I swear to God, your nickname is going to be Calculon. Why? Because you have a pretty goddamn good grasp on the dramatic. Pause.
Thanks for that. Thank you. Thank you for that.
I thank you. I thank the
Yeah,
American
all right.
people.
So going back to it. Ocean's 8 is now #1, and it kicks
Ocean's
a Star
8?
Wars movie
Ocean's 8
out of the
wow.
top, the #1 spot
Wow.
after only 3 weeks. No, after only 2 weeks, really. So it's on its third week. Star Wars has been kicked out of the #1 spot for, I believe, the first time since probably the first movie, if at all.
That
I have to look that up.
that has never happened.
Star
I'm
Wars
gonna tell
movie-
you don't look it up.
Star
It's
Wa-
never happened.
That's
It's
what I'm
never
thinking.
happened.
I'm thinking a Star Wars movie has never been kicked out of the top or the #1 spot
Not that quickly. No.
earlier
no.
than 4 or 5 weeks, possibly.
Not even the prequels. Not even the prequels, man. That's crazy.
So Ocean's 8 has now gone into #1 with a
Seriously,
40
another Owen
40
Wilson.
yeah.
Wow.
a 42% or $42 million rake in from domestic box office. Solo came in at 15 in its third week. Then you got Deadpool, and what I have been hearing is probably the scariest, most disturbing movie of the year, if not decade, Hereditary. Who I have a friend who very much wants to go check this out, and I very much don't want to. However, I probably will go check it out and talk to you about how damaged I have become after watching this. I don't know, it just looks bad in the sense that I don't want to, because I will just be getting the bejesus. I don't do scary very well.
Well, I know you said that you don't do scary very well, but like, what specifically about this one is so weird? Like,
So
I've seen like those pop-in ads and shit
Yes.
like that for the trailers
This
and
has
stuff.
been-
So like,
this has been
what is it? Because I don't usually watch them all the way through.
This has been acclaimed as the Exorcist of our generation, which essentially is saying that this has a lot to do with not just the regular paranormal shit or the regular slasher shit or the regular whatever. This is something that is going to be deeply emotionally impactful, I believe.
Like, not like another say like Insidious or something like that.
Yeah,
Like,
more
even
so than
more
Insidious
so.
or I would say Paranormal Activity, which is a great, fun
I've
popcorn.
never actually seen that.
Not even one. Any of them?
No, I've never seen the Paranormals.
I want to show
Now
them to you.
now I want to see them.
'Cause
Now
I
that
actually-
you're mentioning that, now I want to
I
see.
enjoy most of them, to be honest. I enjoy most of them. Go.
No kid. No. Like no. Seriously though, you're mentioning that now for some reason. Like now I'm kind of interested at least to see the first one, because like okay. I've seen the trailers, I've seen little bits and clips here and there and such, but I've never seen the movie, like seen it. Just
The
like-
first
like I
one
said,
is
like
so
YouTube,
good.
like you see
Second one is
pictures or
great.
check out this part or this is crazy or something like that,
Yeah.
and I'll see like the YouTube footage or something like that. But I've never seen the movie.
You should see them because majority of them are good. And so you have Hereditary, which I believe is going to be something that is extremely I don't want to say disturbing necessarily. However, I think people will be talking about it for a long time. with what the word is on the street so far. I want to check it out, kind of, sort of. I want to check it out in the daytime because I'm not going to watch this right before I go to sleep. Then, of course, rounding out the top 5, you have Avengers Infinity War in its 7th week. Still making just millions of dollars. It is now crossed the $2 billion mark in its 7th week of a release. Good for you, Infinity War. And very interestingly, Hotel Artemis is in at number 8. Hotel Artemis, if you are unfamiliar, is a movie that essentially is about a hospital that is specifically for criminals. You have Jodie Foster being the caretaker / main doctor of the Hotel Artemis. And it actually looked pretty good. However, maybe the marketing didn't do so well. Only making $3 million in box office in its opening weekend. We'll see. I haven't heard very much about this. Now, opening this weekend, there are some great movies here on this list, as you could probably see right now. There are...
Oh, and those look good.
Those look great.
Those look good, too.
These, I think, are being
holy
great.
Shit.
The number one movie that I think is very anticipated for this movie, or for this weekend, is absolutely the movie Tag. With
that one looks like it's gonna be fucking fun.
Isla Fisher, Annabelle Wallace, Jake Johnson, John Hamm, and all these other people. Just kidding. Absolutely. I'm not gonna say absolutely not, because Tag might be a surprise sleeper hit.
Yeah.
To be honest, it looks like it could be in the vein of a Hangover, Bridesmaids,
Horrible
movie.
Bosses,
Yeah,
something
type
like
movie.
that. Yeah.
It's a group of funny people doing weird, funny things. But the thing that I think is going to completely dominate the box office and be number one by far this weekend, The Incredibles 2.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Is coming out, and it just, I have not been hearing nothing but
it
amazing
looks
things.
Great.
Absolutely. And I cannot wait to see it. We've been waiting 14 years for this sequel. Dear God.
Oh, my God, yeah.
What is this? What is
it's the regular Jamaican jerk stout. I got bored, so I decided to pour one. Because I figure you guys can have the last jalapeno, and I'll just start on this since we have a few of those.
It's so yummy. you make yummy beer.
Well, it tastes good, and I guess it sort of works on the palate. But anyway, speaking of on the palate, though, yeah, seriously, like, fucking Incredibles 2, like, this is a long time in the making.
Long time coming.
We've been waiting, and like, I'm not usually into the animated shit too much, depending on the movie, but I really enjoyed the first one.
Absolutely.
And I've been looking forward to seeing what they could do with the second one, since, I mean, come on, I thought that fucking, what the hell is it? Despicable Me. They did 2 of them, and they were great. Both of them were great. So if that can be that good, this can be even. I can't see this being bad. I really can't. This looks so good.
Yeah. So I cannot wait for this. Absolutely, this weekend I'm going to be checking this out. I'm actually kind of interested in Tag. It's not bad looking.
I like the cast. I like everybody who's in it. It's not the same usual like fucking the guys from any of the guys from The Hangover or something typical like that.
Except
like
you have what's his face? Fucking Ed Helms. I don't like Ed Helms.
Yeah, okay. I'll go with you on that. Like, I'm not a big fan of most of the characters he's played, to be quite honest. And I'm not saying he's not a bad actor and shit, but he falls very flat. Very two-dimensional, I guess. I don't know. That's a douchebaggy term,
but
I guess.
He's also very generic because everything he does is very similar to everything else he does. And also
a lot like Zach Galifianakis' characters.
This is the same.
I love Zach Galifianakis. He's funny, but
off the cuff,
one-dimensional, and not even two-dimensional. It's one-dimensional. It's the same character all the time. Yeah, exactly. Sandra Bullock has started doing the same thing too.
I haven't seen a good amount of her recent work.
Ever since she did Miss Congeniality or whatever, it's been kind of the same thing where it's that she's really good at playing the straight man sort of being funny, but it's the same. It's like, okay, Miss Congeniality and The Heat. If you've seen either one of those movies, you have the idea. And Miss Congeniality came a long time ago. And The Heat is probably one of the more recent that style, and it's the same kind of character. Like, oh, I'm uptight, FBI type, or cop type, but I learned to loosen up some because of the people I was around, sort of thing going on. And it ain't bad, and it works for her, but
I hear you. All right. Let me ask you this then.
It's a little boring.
Do you like spiders?
I'm not particularly fond unless you like getting bit.
I see what you did there.
Only if they're radioactive and I'll get superpowers.
I guess. Would you say that you might be afraid of spiders?
I've been known to scream like a little girl at spiders sometimes, yes.
Would you say that you have arachnophobia?
No, not at all. I'm afraid of spiders, but it has nothing to do with arachnophobia. I'm completely deathly afraid of spiders, but it has nothing to do with it.
Fair enough. However, arachnophobia.
Why do you ask?
Arachnophobia was an amazing movie that took place and was shot and filmed and released in 1990.
Whoa! No way, 1990?
And James
really?
Wan. Yeah. I want to say.
Whoa!
1990. Yeah.
Wow, that was so long ago. Oh, man.
And there is going to be a remake by James Wan, who's the guy behind a lot of the more famous recent horror films, such as like Insidious.
Dear James Wan. James Wan? Jim Wan?
James Wan.
Okay, dear Jim Wan.
Jim?
Dear Jim Wan.
Jim Wan?
If James Cameron can be called Jim, then James Wan can be called Jim Wan.
Jimmy Wan.
Dear James Wan, guess what?
Jim Wan.
Why in the hell are you remaking this movie and giving us all real nightmares again? I applaud your efforts, and I hope it comes out good, because you are an amazing director, and I love your I love the way you do your cinematography. But God damn it, do you have to scare me all over again? I got over my arachnophobia until this now.
So you have The Conjuring and Insidious.
Thanks, dude.
He also apparently did a lot of things.
Wow.
Like Saw.
Yes, he did. Holy shit.
Aquaman. What I am very, very excited or curious about is
he did Lights Out. He was a producer on Lights Out.
What I'm curious about
is love that.
He's a producer on Mortal Kombat, which I
Yeah.
haven't heard about. I think they're doing are they doing a remake or a reboot?
I believe, yes. That was actually one of the movies that has been planned in a long time. Yeah, Rebirth. There you go.
What?
But as far as I know, the Mortal Kombat Rebirth, that's only a working title, because obviously they haven't rebooted it yet. That's just what they were working with for a while now. So
That's cool.
I mean, honestly, from the artwork we're seeing there now, and if you're listening, unless you're watching or while you're watching, listening, just Google it, and you'll see they've got this picture. It's a poster art, and it looks like a crazy, almost H.R. Giger-ish version of
Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero. Like, it looks like Sub-Zero, not Scorpion, because it's all in like tones of blue and dead looking, like Sub-Zero with no eyeballs and shit.
Kind of looks like a mechanical face hugger on his face.
Yeah, it looks like a rebreather. No, not a rebreather. It looks like what you said, a mechanical face hugger without the fucking fingers.
Yeah.
Or
it's like a little bit.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's really freaky, guys, and I wish it didn't have the title of 2010, because, man, if they could do something really, really cool with a remake of a movie, it would be Mortal Kombat right now.
Yeah.
Although, you know what? I've often wondered, minus the political blah, 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 and all that crap, political correctness with today's movements and stuff like that, what if they redid, and I'm just saying because I really love the first one, but they could, I bet nowadays they could really do a really cool remake of Die Hard. I know. I really think they'd have to do the best casting ever with.
I don't think that.
But
that
I bet
today's climate calls for it.
No, it totally doesn't. But I wanted to see what they could do. Like even if, say for instance, they did a reboot or whatever, because we were talking earlier about what the difference between a remake and a reboot is.
Yes.
What if they did like a reboot of it with him, with the. Well, I guess it would just have to be Bruce Willis as the original John McClane, although they'd have to take into account he's older. But what if they did the exact same thing they did with Halloween that we saw earlier? With that, and they just ignored everything that happened after the second one.
Well, that's the thing.
No. I'm sorry. After the third one, because let's face it, when it comes to the best Die Hard movies, it would be Die Hard, and then it would be Die Hard with a Vengeance. Because Die Hard 2 was good,
yes,
but it wasn't as good as the first and the third one.
Okay.
Even though the first one was, I'm sorry, no, not even if, I meant to say, and the best part of the first one was that was Alan Rickman's first movie. Ever.
Yes.
Ever. How many people know that? That's amazing.
I do.
Like,
yeah. But
cheers. Because we both knew that. Like, R.I.P. Alan Rickman. God damn, I miss Alan Rickman. Like, that shit was good. I know. I'm sorry. I can't waste a beer, but...
To the homie. Alan Rickman. All right. Well, all that talk we were talking about, it's because James Wan's going to be
arachnophobia. What the fuck?
Remaking or rebooting. It's unclear at this moment. Arachnophobia. And that shit scared the living fuck out of me for too long.
I'll go see it if you promise to go with me.
No, I'm fucking
No,
scared.
I don't want to go see it by myself. Fuck you.
I want to be in like a plastic bubble watching this movie.
Oh my god, I know, right?
I don't want because
I feel like I'm going to be wearing my fucking hoodie and
and though it's too much. Every time I'm thinking like okay, there's this one scene that's stuck in my head of like
I'm going to get the other
Jeff
jalapeno.
Daniels in the bathroom, and there's spiders just coming down on him.
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
Yeah, because he was gonna try and escape out the bathroom window, and then they.
Nope.
I to this day will not take a shower. Excuse me, folks. I will not take a shower to this day with my eyes closed
because
for more than 2 or 3 seconds to rinse soap out of my eyes because of that scene when the girl is taking the shower.
And it jumps on her face.
Oh, my God.
It's a real spider.
Yeah, and which, by the way, is funny because earlier today I was just talking about the actor who played her dad. Mm-hmm. If I'm not mistaken, is the same guy who was the gym coach that gets killed, gets slaughtered in the high school showers of Nightmare on Elm Street 2, who also played Quado in the first version, which is nowhere near the actual story. Of that they ended up making the movie. Oh my God, fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger was in it. Quado, Mars, Total Recall.
Oh yeah.
That Total Recall had nothing to do with the actual book, but anyway, but that I believe the that guy, that actor, was the same actor. Oh, and if I'm correct, he's the same actor who was also who played General something or other bullshit in oh god damn it, Space Bugs, Casper Van Dien, Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
I believe it's the same. Oh, we're watching. Okay, hey, awesome. You pulled up the clip. Ladies and gentlemen, he actually, Garrett just pulled up the
my
clip
God,
so
why
we
is
can
this?
check it out. Oh my
It's
God,
on her
it's
face.
right on her. It's a real spider.
It's on her
You're
boobs.
watching it. Okay, you don't actually see her boobs and it's going down, but it's a real spider and that's him. It's got to be him.
Oh my God.
Because no, it's not him. Okay, never mind. Oh my God! But he totally had the same like haircut and shit like that. He was just a little bit thicker.
I hate it.
Ooh, that was creepy
hate
as
it.
fuck.
I hate it. Why did I do that?
I don't know.
I felt it on my feet. I felt it on my arms. I felt it everywhere.
It's because you're a fucking sadist.
I don't
That's
want
why.
it.
Holy shit.
I don't want.
Oh man. Okay, so they're redoing that movie. Fuck. Ooh, God.
But okay,
damn.
so here's the thing.
Okay.
This is a movie that truly benefits, I believe, from practical effect.
That is, yes.
Because
I
all
would-
of the things that we just saw, that was a real fucking spider.
No, that's right. And you know what? It's interesting enough. I was doing. I love reading about like the behind the scenes shit that they do with movies, and we're talking like before it was online and stuff, when they would do like FX magazine, where they would really get into the FX magazine. I don't know if they're still around, but they're basically like a goddamn fucking 100-page booklet on behind the scenes of different FX that they do in movies and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the articles that I had read was about when they were filming Arachnophobia and how much of the people, I don't know if it's the Humane Society or what, who are involved in like watching animal wranglers and shit like that when it comes to insects. But in this case, insects and arachnids and shit like that. And they used so many insects on this fucking thing. And they were able to do so much just with fucking hair dryers. Pushing those spiders to do certain things.
Go away.
Yeah, just with the hair
Move
dryers.
here.
And my understanding is not one spider died during the filming of
Which
that
is
fucking
impressive.
movie. Yeah, I mean, you figure spiders don't have that much of a lifespan anyway, so any little thing could kill them. And nope, they didn't. As far as I remember,
that
they
scene
didn't
right
lose
now, there's
any,
like-
not one.
They're just pushing it across the thing, like, nope, and then they blew it real quick, and it jumped on her face. It's like, oh my God!
Here, jump on Jeff Daniels real quick or something like that. Like,
Ugh.
oh yeah, honestly.
Ugh.
I don't know anything much about acting, but that takes some nerves
I
of
don't-
fucking
I
steel
don't-
as far as I'm concerned.
I
Holy shit.
don't want anything on me. I don't want it.
So since we've spent so much time talking about things that are making our buttholes pucker, what other movies are going on right now? Because fucking Arachnophobia sounds downright fuck you.
Fair enough. We're gonna skip this, so I'm gonna just say these, and we're not gonna talk about them. The Green Lantern Corps movie is happening with Jeff Johns.
Green Lantern Corps. Okay.
Cool. And Taika Waititi is doing a movie where he plays an imaginary friend named Hitler.
Is
To a
this
boy.
supposed to be some weird version of the Jimmy Stewart movie when he had Harvey the rabbit?
I don't know the names. I don't know what.
No, there's look up it's a Jimmy Stewart movie. I can't remember.
This
the
is
name
going
of
to be
it.
a movie where a young German boy during the Holocaust era makes an imaginary friend who is Hitler.
Oh
However, it's his interpretation of Hitler.
Oh, weird. Weird.
And this movie is not only directed by, but also starring Taika Waititi, who is the director of Thor Ragnarok, as this boy's imaginary friend named Hitler.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So here's a picture.
Is he Muslim or?
He is a Polynesian Jew.
Polynesian Jew. Okay. Oh, well, I was gonna say because his name sounded Polynesian, but I wasn't quite sure.
Taika Waititi as Hitler, who is a Polynesian Jew by his own accord. Look at this fucking picture, dude. It's so
wow.
Also, you have Scarlett Johansson as this German boy's mother.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say that looked like ScarJo, but okay, that is ScarJo.
And
so that's why.
And some interesting shit is like he's very much open about the fact that this movie is going to be making fun of racists. This is not in any way glorifying them or making them in any way
It seems like it's gonna be one of those, like a really.
This is him making fun of him, but the thing that he looks.
It almost looks like it's making
so
fun
weird.
making fun of, but in a touching way, as far as not towards a touching way towards racism, the racists and white supremacists, but touching as far as like the innocence of the way a boy like that would interpret something from the mind of a child before. Or maybe even during finding out that somebody that they had an idea about was really a monster.
Absolutely. So
here's like the whole idea about don't meet your heroes or something like that.
Absolutely. And one of the great examples is as take us for example, something that we can relate to. In the United States, we grew up as children, and you would see stuff about the president. The president doing this, the president doing some amazing stuff, helping the world, helping this, helping that, blah, blah, blah. As a kid, probably younger than 10, you know what I mean? Like, you're just like, the president is an awesome person. Imagine that.
Especially the presidents we've had since we've been alive.
So I was born I was born in 1990.
So right in the middle, well, not right in the middle, but so you were born in the middle of the Gulf War. I'm sorry, the second year into the Gulf War, and the second year or third year into the Herbert Walker Bush presidency.
Yes. The first president I remember hearing about was Bill Clinton. And not the
right after Herbert Walker. Yeah, that makes sense.
And not the crazy like he had some woman sucking his dick shit. Like that. I didn't hear about that until after.
Well, yeah, if you're that young and
I was born in 1990. So
remember, nobody really cared that he cheated on his wife. They just cared that he lied.
Yeah, I was like, bruh.
Everybody makes mistakes. Come on.
Like, I want to know if he
what
came
a
out
cool motherfucker he was. I mean, he was a cool president when he was a cool president.
Like, I'm doing cool. Like, what if he came out and he's like, I'm doing the best thing that I can do for this country. However, I like to get my dick sucked, so I don't see what it is, how it has to do with my presidency.
Oh boy, I just wanted to let you know. I just had myself some free time, and I just kind of had to fill it. And she had herself some free time and some free holes, and I just had to fill it.
She had some free holes.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have to tell you
did better.
that your Bill Clinton sounds a lot like Barack Obama.
Did. No,
but you have a great Barack Obama. No,
Thank
really,
you.
you really do. Though.
Thank you.
Like your Barack Obama is good. It really is.
My thing is that once I can hear an example, I can emulate and elaborate on that. So
you know where I get most of you know where I get my Bill Clinton?
Do it one more time, real quick, just one sentence.
Oh boy. So I just wanted to tell the American people that my wife Hillary and I just wanted to say we love serving this country, and we just wanted to say God bless.
God bless America. And I'll tell you,
just
now,
okay.
I will tell you right.
No, you got it.
I will tell you right now that
No, go.
I was
do
doing-
a little. No, do a little bit of a.
I was doing the best. I was
do-
doing the best that I could. I was doing the best that I could for this
there you
country.
go.
And while I
Sorry.
do the best for this country, I just want you to know that sometimes it's a little stressful. And I'd really like to have some me time sometimes. And this woman,
Oh boy, I like to get my dick sucked.
This woman, she had the mouth of an angel. And truly, I do love Hillary. However,
She got the mouth of a devil.
she does not have the mouth of an angel. She does not. And truly, running the country is a difficult job. I truly believe that a little release every now and then is not a bad idea. So when you come to me and you tell me that I am a bad person for having sexual relationships with this woman, I have to come back and I have to tell you I did have sexual relationships with this woman and it was amazing.
That's what I feel I should have said the first time.
And now I can run the country.
But my
very
wife
well.
had my balls in a vice, and I couldn't quite tell you what was really going on.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Seriously though, seriously, all of your listeners and all of your viewers almost witnessed a murder right now because you killed me with that.
Hey!
Oh my God! Like seriously, I was fucking. I could barely catch my fucking breath. I seriously, I had to take my fucking headphones off and go off camera for a second. That was seriously funny. Like, honestly, you've got a little bit more of a and a little bit more of a.
I need to tweak it, but I'm also drunk. So the drunker I get,
No,
the
exactly.
harder it is.
No, but that's why I'm saying like that's why it was better. This attempt was so funny because it was so much more Bill and so much less Barack. Excuse me. And
Because Barack, he comes at this
well, you're
very much.
it's
thinks
the
about
Midwest,
what he wants to say.
but it's the Midwestern that whole. It's very Midwestern.
He does
Whereas you
do
get the Bill, and
his
it's like
pauses.
it's a lazy
Yes.
Okay, you know, okay.
Like he does
If
his
you
pauses,
want to,
but
if
it's
you
not the
want to
same thing.
try and find the best way to find a Bill Clinton, if you're gonna do a Bill Clinton impression, is Dave Chappelle. When Dave Chappelle, it's one of the last stand-ups he did before he started doing his show, the Dave Chappelle Show,
Yeah.
and then disappeared. He was doing an impression of Bill Clinton where he was like, he was espousing how much everybody loved Bill Clinton and stuff, and he was like, it didn't matter what he said and stuff like that. And then he did this thing where he was like, "Oh, come here, you little," and I'm sorry, I don't have the right skin tone to quote him.
Fair
but
enough.
he says, "Oh, come here, you little enter baby," and
have
he
more
goes,
beer?
"Mwah." Yeah, I actually just got that for that. But anyway, he does. You have to look at the viewers have to look it up. Oh, you got to open it. The viewers will have to look it up and stuff. But it's such a great quote because, like I said, it's him doing his impression.
It looks like that one warmed up a bit.
Oh God damn it! Here, give me your glass.
Trying. There you go.
See, it's a good thing we have a towel.
Right? So, okay, so that's a good example. For people that aren't aware and they just saw this on TV, what makes beers explode like that when you pop them open? Blue. What? Yeah. Oh, you're blue.
Usually, what happens is because sometimes it's from overcarbonation, which means that there was a lot of residual sugars inside the beer before it went into the bottle. And that means that the yeast that had enough room to eat and then not have enough room to expand or give off the carbon dioxide gas, it contributes to the carbon dioxide that's in the beer that gives the beer its fizz. However, what it can also do is it can also contribute to foam over, which is exactly what happened right now, whereas you pop it and you get more foam up because there's a larger amount of nucleation because there's more concentrated there's more concentrated CO2 in the solution. That is the beer. Now, the other cause of that is from when a beer is warm, and what happens is the colder a beer is, the more carbon dioxide will actually redissolve into and meld, I guess, if you were to call it that. In the same way that you melt sugar or you heat up water to get salt to dissolve, like when you're making pasta or whatever, it's the same thing when you warm up a beer. It will get a lot fizzier because the carbon dioxide will release faster. Whereas the colder it is, the carbon dioxide will release slower, and then you won't get a foam over. In this case, the beer was obviously too warm and had a lot of yeast still working in it.
Yeah.
And had a lot of pent up pressure in there. So
Still goddamn delicious.
yeah, and once the carbonation goes down, unfortunately, most carbonation when you get a foam over will lose about 25% of your beer, but the colder it is, the less percentage of the actual beer you will lose and the more gas you will lose. So you'll still keep most of your beer. In the same way that, like, if you watch shows like Bar Rescue and shit like that, when John Tapper talks about 25% or 23% or 10% or whatever the fuck those percentages are on how much of the keg you get to keep and stuff, it all has to do with keeping carbon dioxide and keeping the beer itself cold.
All right. So this one right here is the Jamaican Imperial Stout with strawberries and chocolate. Is that correct?
Yes, and actually, it's if I had grabbed one of the regular Jamaicans, then it wouldn't have foamed over. But because this had the fresh strawberries in it, it has like sugars, extra sugars and shit from the secondary and stuff that were added and that kind of thing. It's a lot of technical crap. It just means it had more fruit sugars, which is fructose. If you ever see the term fructose, that means fruit sugar. Maltose means malt sugar. Sucrose means sugar, like sugar cane or beet sugar is sucrose. And then, there's a couple of other ones that are whatever. If
Lactose.
Lactose. Oh, yeah, there you go. That's a perfect example. That's milk sugars. In fact, actually, if you're like most Americans, and, well, most people in the world, to be honest, if you can handle eating milk, drinking milk, you're a freak of nature. No, I look at you, I'm looking right into the camera, and I want to tell you, you are a freak. You are a fucking mutant. You are not normal. And that is amazing. No, seriously. With all jokes aside, the actual majority of people in the world, we are, and I say we because apparently when I was younger, I could eat milk, no problem. I could drink it.
I feel like a lot of people would.
I used to drink it when I was a freaking kid when it was super hot outside.
Yeah.
I wouldn't come in and drink a freaking big glass of water. I would drink a big glass of milk like a fucking moron. Like, it's
no,
thick and
okay, it's
stupid,
not-
and you
okay,
want to
no, no,
puke.
whoa,
But it was
whoa,
so
whoa.
refreshing. Oh my God, was it refreshing?
I need you
Holy
to
shit!
I need you to back the fuck up because of the fact that, not like a moron, because of the fact that you had no better idea about it at
Ignorant,
that age.
like an ignorant. Because
I guess. Okay, so here's the
if
thing.
you don't know, you're ignorant. If you're a moron, it's because you can't grasp.
Here is something
Mhm.
that I have had a great deal of. Excuse me.
Considering there's a lot more information out there,
Yes.
I have
As-
to prematurely say I agree with where you're going.
Yes, and that's the thing. Growing up, we had no better idea. All our parents, was like, "Hey, give our kids cereal
following
and
the
cow's milk,"
and
it's
we were
just amazing.
following the food pyramid back then.
Exactly. Which is
Ooh,
like,
no,
here's
that's a
this
good
whole
point.
chunk of dairy.
Seriously, that's a good point. That is a really good point.
We are the only look. We drink other animals' milk. We make our own milk. Women create milk, and we drink that as babies, and then they stop.
However,
However-
other animals wean their young. Even we wean.
Yes.
we. It's like saying doo doo.
Humans, yeah.
We is doo doo. Anyway, yeah, we wean our young. You're right.
off of us. However, as adults, we are the only species that continues to drink another animal's milk. And here's
What
the
about
thing.
cheese
I am
and butter?
I am by no. I mean, I
Okay.
am by no means.
Nice.
I am by no means an advocate for veganism or vegetarian. I have no problem whatsoever. I have plenty of friends. I enjoy.
You're neither for nor against.
And the thing is, I'm an omnivore. I truly am.
Yeah.
Whereas
well,
I know what I can.
you're a true human then.
I
'Cause
kn- yeah, I know what I-
humans are
yeah.
omnivores.
I know what I can ingest. I know what I can't. I don't drink milk by the choice of every time I drink milk, I have a very bad reaction to it. However, cheese, I do
Same
not
here.
have that. Or ice cream, cheese, ice cream, all that.
You can eat ice cream?
Oh, hell yeah.
I took
I ate 3 giant scoops about this size of ice cream.
real ice
the
cream,
other day.
not gelato, not ice cream.
Okay, so there's a place. I live in Monterey Park. The place right here in
Give me
Alhambra
your glass of
called Fosselman's, and they have the most delicious ice cream. I had 3 giant scoops.
By the way, I've heard of the place, and I will actually endorse at least what I've heard. That apparently they're freaking delicious.
It's delicious.
Apparently they're fucking delicious. I've seen it online
And I've had
here and there once a couple of times,
I've had-
and they
yeah.
sound really good. And I'm jealous I can't eat it.
Yeah, I've had what seems to be zero reaction to it. However, and this is the question I had for you.
And you don't have to take like lactate or something like
Nope,
that.
Nothing.
Okay.
I have no problem with that. Or cheese. I just had a shit ton of mac and cheese for breakfast. I had
Okay.
lobster mac and cheese with eggs and cream. No reaction. Oh no, you go for it.
No, thank you.
But the thing is,
I always like to ask a lot.
I appreciate that. The thing is, I have a cream ale, and my stomach is, for lack of a better term, it is fucked up, sir.
A cream ale.
A cream ale. I have a can in my fridge. That
Wait, you mean like cream ale, like beer? Cream ale.
Yes.
Okay. Cream ale has no cream unless they add lactose sugar. A cream ale does not have any kind of lactose in it.
Maybe it was. No,
You'll have to show
Every
it to-
single
you'll
time
have
I
to
a
show
cream
it to
ale,
me.
It fucks me up.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't
you know
what it is.
You know what? You're gonna have to show me
What is a
it
cream
is.
ale?
Well, okay. A cream ale usually just has to do with the body of it. It doesn't have to do with what's in it. Like there's no lactose sugar. In the same way that what's the
I think
difference
this one does
between
say it
a
has
California Common and a pale ale, or a California Common and another light beer? Like what's the difference? Oh, the difference is the malt, or maybe the way it's brewed, because it's a slightly different technique or something like that. But essentially, it was like champagne. Somebody came up with it, and it was a California style original or whatever. So somebody that's it. It's called a California Common because that's a style like champagne. Champagne, France, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I'm not quite sure. I would definitely have to see like what it says and what the ingredients are, because it could be, you might have a problem with like certain like glutens or whatever, or the breakdown in gluten proteins. Because I've had problems with like cheese and butter doesn't mess with me too much, but I have literally taken one bite out of a Choco Taco, and I have loved Choco Tacos since I was a fucking kid. Oh my fucking God. Holy shit.
Yeah.
And last time I took a bite of when I was 22 or 23 years old, I took one bite, and I shit you not, no puns intended, I was doubled over on the floor, ready to shit my pants. But I couldn't.
Wow.
I wasn't shitting. I was just the fucked up diarrhea cramps that you get, but without
Let me show
anything.
you. Okay. Keep going.
The cramps were the worst, and this is where I finally figured out that I had a problem with lactose, because I was so cramped over. The pain was so bad. I didn't know what to do. Like, the whole idea of I didn't know whether to shit or go blind. As funny as that sounds, like, you really you don't know what to do, because it's not like you have to, you know. And I hate talking about bowel movements and shit. That's why I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about specifically is the cramps you get in the gut, in the intestines going through. And, like, that's where the pain is, because it's almost like when you eat something really spicy and you can feel it moving through. If you can't digest it, it feels the same way. And... well, anyway, the point being, because I'm not going to talk about gross. The fact is that if you can't handle it, it's like, it really is like a burning piece of coal, and you can feel it throughout your entire digestive tract. It was fucked up. So I learned that I can't eat ice cream anymore, and it was the most fucked up thing in the world. And I've had this marshmallow milk stout by Garage Brewing Company.
Delicious.
Yes, this is a good one.
And it has fucked me up, sir.
Okay.
And I've tried it on multiple days, and each day that I've tried it, granted, it's not the only thing I've tried that may have messed up my system.
Contains lactose. That's why.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. What they did was, and this is
It has
actually,
fucked me up, sir.
if you anytime any of you, just so you know, if you are lactose intolerant, you cannot handle the proteins. It doesn't matter if you can handle the sugars. Some people, obviously, Garrett, compared to me, can handle certain forms of lactose more than others.
Which is the weirdest thing, because I can do ice cream, cheese, and butter, and all that.
I cannot do ice cream.
Not that.
I know cheese and butter messes with me, but not as bad, and I think it's the fat content. I found that gelato doesn't mess with me that bad, but I don't know if it's because it's cooked or it's tempered at least or whatever. But ice cream as is and drinking milk as is, heavy cream and other forms of I cannot do. Like, I seriously, within just a few minutes of ingesting, I'm doubled over in the worst pains, abdominal pains ever. Like, it's fucked up. The other thing, and I don't know about any of your listeners if they know, but if you don't know, if you're lactose intolerant, certain forms of medication, over-the-counter and also prescription, contains lactose binders, and what it is it's lactose proteins or lactose sugars that are used to bind the components to make tablets or to make whatever the gel form of certain pills, like gel tabs and stuff like that. But they actually use lactose sugars or lactose proteins in there. And what you need to do if you're lactose intolerant, severely lactose intolerant, is find out which ones use those binders, So that way you can find the other ones, because it's not like lactose binders are honestly really good. Like they're probably one of the more efficient forms of binding ingredients together when you're making pills, especially tablets and other dry forms of drugs that are very helpful. But unfortunately, if you're severely lactose intolerant or even mildly lactose intolerant, it can really inflame, especially in the bowels, in the bowels of the lower intestines. So, or the lower part of the small intestine into the large intestine. I'm not quite sure, but it's somewhere around there. So, right when you get the Bernie in the middle.
Fair enough. Well, this episode of Humpcast is brought to you by NBC. More you know.
Okay, so I'm sorry. That was weird. I went off and we were talking about movies. So anyway,
I don't even know where we went. Like, how did we get?
no, we were
how did
talking.
we even get here,
No, because
bro?
we were talking about arachnophobia to start with, and then for some reason it went into phobias, and then honestly, we would have to listen back to it to find out where exactly it delved into lactose. Oh, I don't know. We were talking about anything and the beer got brought up. But anywho, dude.
Not gonna
Okay,
do it.
if they're gonna make another arachnophobia
They're gonna make
as
yeah.
freaky as it's gonna be and shit like that, I hope they do it well. I really do. Like, I want them to do a really good job. I don't want them to fuck it up.
Abso-fucking-lutely. And here's the main thing that I think a lot of people don't think of. I want every
Are
movie.
you cracking this guy?
No, fuck. No.
Okay. I was
would-
gonna
I would
say
like
I'm
to-
gonna leave that guy over there.
I would like to not shit my pants. There's plenty of beer in there.
Exactly. Like, I'll go get another one, but I just want to make sure we're not cracking that.
No,
guy.
that's the thing. Is like I'm like, it tastes
no
delicious,
shit. It does. It totally does.
and it
totally
makes me
does.
shit my pants.
Yep.
Like-
Yep.
I'm like, why is this going on right now? Like, what is going on? What did I eat? And I'm like, oh, I had one of these milk stouts.
No, you just have to make sure you don't. Okay.
That's
anyway,
why I wanted
so
to ask you. So,
milk stouts are a horror movie in and of themselves. But since we're talking about arachnophobia, okay, so arachnophobia.
no,
And I'm gonna go find a beer real quick.
We have go for it. We have well past arachnophobia, and now we are moving on to another type of horror movie. Keep going.
Another? Ooh, that sounds enticing. Nether and another.
And one other.
And nether. Is it another movie?
One other. So, if you have not been on the internet in the last week, okay, whatever. But, however, there is a brand new trailer for the new Halloween. Going back. After a burp. The new Halloween movie. Okay, okay, can't do that. What? That was horrible. Talk real quick.
Well,
Wait, with how? Keep talking about.
it may not have been the best ever, but still, it was okay. Let's hear the original, because that's a Tyrannosaurus.
Yeah, no, it is. It's definitely a thing. So let me try that one more time. So there's a new movie and the trailer, and it just dropped, and it was pretty cool, and it is called Halloween. So it's a creepy fucking sound, by the way. I don't know what it is. Like, if it has.
Everybody
to do with
knows what that is. Holy shit! You
Why
can't
is
hear
it
it and not
so
know.
creepy?
It's like the theme music from Nightmare on Elm Street or fucking Friday the 13th. Like, everybody knows it.
Yeah, there's like different
Or-
sound effects that literally just like. creep the shit out of you.
Or like the fucking theme song to fucking Tales from the Crypt and shit. Like, it's just iconic as fuck. God. Okay.
This one is so bad though.
I'm loving. We watched the trailer, and apparently Garrett had seen it, but I hadn't seen it, and I gotta tell you, I really liked it. I love what they're doing with it. I love the fact that I love what they're doing with it. Amazing. Like,
yes.
Just awesome.
So, a little bit of background on this. So, you should have seen this if you are listening to this or you're on the internet. They are rebooting everything after the first Halloween movie. So, there is a sequel coming out that is a direct sequel to Halloween 1. And it essentially has taken all of the movies since Halloween and thrown them out the window as far as lore goes. So
that's crazy.
It's a movie that takes place
cool.
directly after Halloween 1. However, it is a direct sequel that literally brings back Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode and Michael Myers. And it is getting rid of everything that has come since then as far as movies. And
so they got rid of Josh Hartnett, thank God. Okay, because that was
that a movie? I've never seen anything.
Josh Hartnett was her son or something like that, and it wasn't
H2O?
It wasn't H2O, or maybe it was H2O. If it wasn't H2O, it was the one just before H2O, and it was weird and shit like that. It was that one when they were trying to explain. I think it was the one where they were trying to explain he had the mark of Thorn or some shit, and they were doing the whole that whole storyline.
Halloween H2O.
Oh, it was
years
H2O. Okay, it was H2O.
1998.
Wait, was that
dude.
the one where they were trying to do the whole thing with the mark of Thorn? The thing with the ruins, the ruins. I mean the Nordic runes and shit. I'm sorry, I keep saying Stewie about it, but I mean runes, like runes.
Yeah, I have no idea, but
No,
you
that's
had
gotta be
Josh
it.
Hartnett, LL Cool J, Michelle Williams.
LL Cool J. That's right. I forgot about him and Vanessa Williams. No shit. Wait a minute. I thought Vanessa Williams was black.
This is not Vanessa Williams.
I'm sorry.
This is hold up. Michelle Williams.
Michelle Williams. Okay, I'm
Different
sorry.
person.
Vanessa, because
Racist?
Vanessa Williams, she's fucking fabulous, and she's a goddamn singer, and I fucking love her.
Cool.
So I was like, that doesn't look like no Vanessa Williams in there, but
Dude, there's
okay.
so many like Halloween movies, and
they're weird. I
they're
mean,
getting rid of all of these.
but seriously, okay, if you had to absolutely pick the worst one, the first one that they should absolutely get rid of, would you disagree with me in saying it's Halloween 3 or whichever was the Curse of the Witch or Dawn of the Witch or Night of the Witch or whatever that fucking weird one was that had absolutely nothing to do with Michael Myers?
I have literally seen none of them except the original.
What the fuck was the name of that?
There's so many.
You've
of
never
them,
seen any of these, or
just the original. I've heard of H2O. I've heard
Okay.
of Season of the Witch.
Okay.
Heard of the remake, but literally not seen any of these except for the original Halloween.
Okay, well, okay, don't bother. I think it's the third one. Seriously, like if you like look up the third one, it's like Season of the Witch.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
I've heard
Season
that
of the Witch. It's the worst one and has nothing to do with actual Halloween itself, like the storyline of Halloween. Like it's the worst one, like just stupid as fuck.
Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Yeah, like it's stupid as fuck. Like seriously, dumb. And not only that, and not only just because it sucks because it has nothing to do with Halloween, the movies, but because it was just a terrible movie to begin with. Like, I wish I had something bad and good to say about it, because it was so bad. There's nothing to say about it. Like there's just nothing except to say that it was bad. Like I guess if any of them deserved a Razzie, it would be that one, because all the other ones sucked. But at least they had something to do with the original.
I hear you. All right. Well, I mean, like, I guess I'm happy that they're just completely just negating all of these. Yeah, check out this trailer. Literally,
it's so gritty, guys. Seriously, everybody, check out this trailer. I mean, it's gritty. It's a little surprise, like typical, like not surprising, and then it's surprising, and like honestly, when you check out the trailer, if there's one at least scene that I was impressed with, and I would think that you guys would be impressed with too, and that's at the asylum.
Oh yeah, okay.
No spoilers, because
yeah.
I've only seen the trailers, but
yeah, exactly.
just when he walks into the asylum to show Michael the mask, and they've got that like red and white checkerboard pattern. I was immediately taken by that. Like, not that it was a checkerboard thing, but just
no
the visually, visual.
Go watch this trailer.
Yeah,
Seriously.
It's amazing. I'm only going off the trailer, guys. I don't have an advanced copy look at this shit. This is just good.
All right. So, that being said, I want to thank our guest today, Jermey Northwood, for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you, dude.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me. Like, no, really though. Thank you for because I haven't been out there just because my own personal thing.
I know.
Just working on some work and stuff and trying to come up with the beers and shit. Like, I love that this music is still going in the background.
I like it.
And stuff. And I've got a couple of other beers that we'll talk about a little later and stuff like that.
And we got our shit.
Oh, wait.
We gotta talk about.
Wait. Do we have a couple minutes? And when I say couple minutes, I mean literally like a couple, like 2 minutes, like the space of 2 minutes for me to really quickly.
Did you want to do this on air or doing it after? Because we can.
On air.
Okay, go.
Okay. So there's going to be at least 3 new beers,
yes,
and they're going to be tributed to Humpcast.
What?
And one of the beers very easily was I was able to name Ryan D.
Okay.
And it is RYE''IN double IPA. So it's going to be a double rye IPA. And I know that, Ryan, you're not into big-ass, giant double IPA beers and shit, which is the comedy of it because you're a comedian. So that's why I'm making a beer that you would maybe like but might not be too into. But I've got 2 other beers, and it's unfortunate that Ricky C couldn't be here. And I mean, I'm sorry. I'll try and bring some...
Rest in peace, Ricky C.
I'll try and bring some rune stones that'll work to conjure you, but I just wanted to tell you, Ricky C, in honor of you and rest in peace, I wanted to make a really danky ass, basically smoke C every day beer in tribute to you. So just a really big, nice double IPA, nice and balanced, but has a lot of really danky qualities to it. You and Garrett throw your heads together to try and come up with a name for it, because as far as I'm concerned, I don't really have a good name.
I kind of think you just
I'm terrible at this. What, smoke C every day?
Yeah.
Ooh, you think that's good?
I think that's great.
Oh, because I wasn't even thinking about that. That just came off the top.
A Ryan D double IPA and a smoke C every day.
Ricky C. Oh, yeah. Ryan D double rye IPA and Ricky C. Yeah, a danky D IPA. Yeah. Okay, so I can't leave you out of it. So very quickly. So this year, since...
That's all the time we have for Humpcast.
So, since we didn't get a chance to talk about it, and only really quickly, just to end with, I am going to give it over to you to name, and you don't have to do it on air, obviously.
I can't not do it.
To name a sweet orange Belgian strong ale. And the only thing I could think of that would make any sense would to be instead of your other alias Striker,
Mitch Striker.
to call it Mitch Strong Ale, but I don't know considering.
It's not
and
bad.
the reason why is because I've got this amazing orange tree in my backyard that has just it. Every other citrus tree in my neighborhood has been stricken with this blight, except for my orange tree and my lemon lime tree, and it has got some of the sweetest fucking naturally sweetest orange juice ever. And the first person I thought of when I thought about this orange was you and a Belgian strong ale for some reason. And I don't know why. It was just one of those naturals. Oh my God, this is the sweetest, juiciest orange ever. I'll make a fucking Belgian beer. Oh my God, Garrett. And I couldn't come up with a name, so you have to name
What
it.
did you just say with Mitch Striker?
I was just thinking Striker's
Strong.
Belgian strong ale.
That's a great one, to be honest.
Striker's Belgian strong? You think
If
you like it?
I like it. However, if you didn't know my alias of Mitch Striker, which is essentially my gaming alias,
That's
if you play
That's Mitch. That's
Mitch.
MIT
CH,
with a hard T. CH. Mitch.
Striker
Mitch
on Fortnite, go check me out.
Mitch Striker.
I would call it a orange you glad.
That sounds seriously like you could be a NASCAR racer and
Could
shit
be.
like that. Like seriously, Mitch Striker, Tom Petty.
Well, if we're going with a Ryan D IPA and a what is it, the Ricky C,
And you get it, like, because
What was the
you're
other one?
Ryan.
What was-
You're Ryan.
No, I get it
You're
completely.
Ryan the double IPA.
and then Ricky, what was the other one?
It was
Oh,
it was
Smoke
just
C every day.
Danky
Smoke
C
C every
or
day.
Smoke
Smoke
C
C
every
every
day.
I'm gonna go with orange you glad I didn't say Garrett. That's it. Why? Because it's cheesy as fuck, which is me. Inherently
I'm sorry.
me. Inherently me. It's an orange you glad I didn't say Garrett. It's cheesy, makes you giggle, but I'm like, that's so stupid, but I like it.
I'm sorry. I'd feel bad for coughing into the mic, except that it was a dry cough because you had me choking on it. Oh my God. No, that is great. I love it. I love it.
So you have
there you go.
Ryan,
He is officially named it.
Rye and D double IPA on a Smoke C every day with Ricky C.
Okay.
And an orange you glad I didn't say Garrett.
Oh my God. Okay, that's perfect. That is perfect.
You're welcome. On that note, I want to thank our guest Jermey Northwood for coming in. Thanks again, bud.
Chris 55.
Chris 55.
And I have to thank my host, Garrett A.M. Lee.
I appreciate that.
Hashtag Mitch Striker on everything else
For
having
Fortnite. And Mitch _Striker on Snapchat. And if you want
for
to follow
having me on. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And as always, it is so much fucking fun to be on the show and that kind of thing. I wish we would have been able to get the other two seanced in, but
I do wish to. Another time, definitely.
cheers, fellas.
Cheers it is. And if you want to follow me personally on Instagram and Twitter, you can follow me at Garrett _AM Lee and Mitch _Striker on the Snapchat. You can follow us at Humpcast on Facebook and subscribe however you are listening. Thank you for watching and or listening, and we will see you next week.
Good night, everybody.